Hi, this is Molly, the dog. She likes when people stroke her, and she loves chasing butterflies. But as soon as someone she doesn't know comes closer, she starts barking right away. Woof, woof. But Molly isn't just any dog, because if she had been born in Poland, people would say she goes how how. Why do dogs sound different in different countries? Different languages write sounds in different ways. There isn't one right way to say what a dog sounds like. It depends on the language you speak. And here are 4 reasons why. Sound words are different in every language. Sound words, meaning words that try to imitate real sounds, are never completely exact. Every language just tries to figure out how to write a sound using its own letters and sounds. And since every language has different letters and different sounds, the result ends up different too. Here are some examples of how dogs sound in different countries. Polish, how how. Swedish, woof woof. Japanese, wang wang. Spanish, wow wow. French, waf waf. Korean, mong mong. Everyone is trying to write down the same bark, just with different words. We hear sounds differently depending on the language we speak. In different countries, we are used to different kinds of sounds. So we don't hear things in exactly the same way. We interpret sounds with ears that are trained by our own language. For example, a Japanese person thinks a dog says wang wang, because that fits the way the language sounds. Languages have different ways of writing sounds. Some languages don't have certain sounds, so they replace them with something similar. In languages with tones, like Chinese, barking can sound completely different than in, for example, Swedish or English. In Korean, the F sound doesn't exist, and there isn't a separate W sound either. Since these sounds aren't part of the language, they get replaced with sounds that fit better when people speak or write. That's why in Korea people don't say woof woof, they say mong mong instead. Same dog, just different letters and different sounds. We learn what a dog is supposed to say. Children learn from books, movies, and songs that a dog says woof woof or how how. It becomes a habit, and we start to believe that dogs really sound like that. But actually, that's just something people created. But here's the important part. Dogs bark the same way all over the world. It's only us humans who write it down in different ways. Dogs have their own language that every other dog understands. Here are the 3 ways dogs communicate. Body language. How a dog stands, how it holds its tail, its ears, how it looks at you. All of that says something. A dog in Japan and a dog in Sweden understand each other right away. Whether the other one is happy, scared, or just wants to play. Sounds. Dogs bark, growl, and whine. But they don't care how we write those sounds. They hear the feelings in the voice. Smell. Dogs also communicate using smells, for example by peeing on things, or simply through the natural scent of their body. Dogs' way of communicating also shows up in movies and books. Here are 2 examples. A Dog's Purpose. This is a movie where we follow a dog who is reborn several times as different breeds with different names. But inside it's always the same soul and the same dog. In every life, it meets new people. And it feels joy, love, and sadness. And it shows all of that through the way it moves, the way it looks at people, and the way it behaves. It never says, "I'm sad," but we still understand it. That's how dogs communicate, with emotions and body language, not words. It also shows that dogs understand our feelings better than we think. Hachiko, A Dog's Tale. This is a true story from Japan about a dog named Hachiko. Every day he walked with his owner to the train station, and every day he waited for him to come back. But one day his owner never returned, and still Hachiko kept waiting. And he waited for 9 years. Of course, he never said a word, but his behavior said everything. His loyalty, his love, and his hope that his owner would return. It shows the strong bond between humans and dogs and how much can be said without words. I can also mention a few other movies you can check out. Marley and Me. This is about a wild but deeply loved dog and how he changes his family's life. Bolt. That's an animated movie about a dog who thinks he has superpowers but learns what it really means to be a friend. And Togo. This is based on a true story about a sled dog who helped save lives during a snowstorm in Alaska. So, what's your dog's name? And what does it sound like when it barks? Thank you. Bye. See you.